Good morning, UUMAN. I'm Worship Associate Ria Mongia. On behalf of Reverend Dave Dunn, Director of Religious Exploration Lexi Tagney, Music Director Alex Peach, my fellow worship associates, and the dedicated technical team that is making today's live stream possible, I would like to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Metro Atlanta North Congregation, which we lovingly call UUMAN. We are a liberal faith community with a mission to nurture our spirit, strive for justice, and transform the world. No matter who you are, who you love, or where you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Are there any of you visiting us for the first time and feel comfortable doing so? Please identify and introduce yourself so we can worship with one another as friends. Are there any first-time visitors on my left? On my right? Okay. We have some announcements. There will be no Youth RE this week or next. For those interested in volunteering, there are cards in the seat backs to indicate interest and get involved. There will also be a sweet and savory swap holiday party on next Sunday's service on December 4th after service.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jennifer Ratcliffe. My husband, Gus Haydorn, and I are teaching a class next week for the next 3 Sundays. It's called Eating to Extinction. It's about our most primal connection to the Earth Mother, that's eating, and what the habits of 8 million of us and our eating habits have on the planet. So please join us.
Circle round for freedom. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us imprisoned. Circle for release. Circle for the planet. Circle for each soul, for the future of our unborn. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us imprisoned. Circle for release. Circle for the planet. Circle for each soul. For the future of our unborn. Keep the circle whole.
Thank you. Good morning, all. This morning's call to worship is by Annie Forster. Come we now out of the darkness of our unknowing and the dusk of our dreaming. Come we now from far places, come we now into the twilight of our awakening, in the reflection of our gathering. Come we now all together. We bring unilluminated our dark caves of doubting. We seek unbedazzled the clear light of understanding. May the sparks of our joining kindle our resolve, brighten our spirits, reflect our love, and unshadow our days. Come we now, enter the dawning. And now let us light our chalice together.
Our light is the light of the sun, keeper of all we love. Our light is the light of the earth, provider of sustenance. Our light is the light of all living things, life precious like our own. Our light is the light of each of us, bound together in need and hope. Our light is the light of the cosmos, keeper of all we know. Please rise as you are able and join us in singing hymn number 1069. At this point in our service, we share our joys with each other to magnify them and our sorrows to divide the weight of their pain. If you are so moved, please feel free to come forward, drop a pebble in the bowl, and express a joy or sorrow that you may have. For those of you attending via live stream, if you have a joy or sorrow that you would like to share this morning, please type it in the chat.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Rafaela Shanahan, Elizabeth's daughter. And I have a joy that I came home for Thanksgiving break. I'm at Suffolk University in Boston for college, and this was my first time home, so it was a lot of fun to be here. And I'm also excited to go back because, you know, I miss the Boston atmosphere, my friends, but I'm also thankful for the nice, warm Georgia weather. So I'm going to drop a few pebbles.
Hi, my name is John Burkhart. I have a pebble of joy. I was speaking to my parents who just moved to Georgia not too long ago, and they've never voted in a runoff election. So I went on the website and found their polling location and got them all set up. Just want to remind everyone to speak to friends and families. There are lots of people out there who don't know where to vote or that they should vote. So politics aside, whatever you believe, just talk to your friends and families, make sure they're voting. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Mary Beth Stevens. I'm a member of this congregation. I have two pebbles of sorrow this morning. One for a member of UUMAN from years ago. His name is Vince Teeter. Some of you may remember him. Vince died last week. His wife, now ex-wife, Kathleen Tomlin, was part of our music program for years and is an excellent musician. And she reached out to me and asked me if I would drop this pebble for her. And the service will be at Emerson, and I'm sure we'll hear about that. And then secondly, I'm dropping a pebble for Mark Wheeler's father, who died on Friday, Thomas Metcalf. Please keep his wife, Fanny, and Mark and the rest of the family in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
I don't know if we have enough pebbles, but I would drop 50 pebbles of joy for celebrating my 50th birthday yesterday with tons of family and friends who came from all over to celebrate with me. My mother-in-law is here with me this morning, Karen, so say hi to her. And my husband's been planning this party for me for months, and it turned out more perfect than I could ever imagine. So filled with love and joy.
And I'll do 5. How about that? 30 decades.
Good morning. My name is Gus Haydorn. I have a great joy that we have learned that our democracy still works, and also a great concern that too few people make it so.
Good morning. My name's Anu Mongia. I have a joy. My 5 of us, we took a driving trip, and everybody was very happy on that trip. So that's a joy for us. And I have a sorrow. My father-in-law is very sick. He's in the hospital. So we spent Thanksgiving in the hospital with him. Just keep us in our thoughts and in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jules, and I just want to say I have a great joy. It's just such a privilege to be part of this choir. Alex has really been amazing. I'm terrified to sing in front of everybody, but it's joyful to be here, and it's been a great experience.
Good morning. I'm Bruce Langston. I went and visited our dear friend and UUMAN member and member of our technical team, Dirk Bender, yesterday. He's in the hospital with breathing difficulties. He has a new doctor and a new diagnosis as of yesterday, and I invite you to keep Dirk in your thoughts and your hearts.
One final pebble for all those joys and sorrows still too tender to escape the folds of our hearts. Let us keep one another in our thoughts for the coming week. Thanksgiving is a complicated holiday for Native Americans. Many choose to reject the holiday as it commemorates invasion, theft, and genocide. Since 1970, the United American Indians of New England have held a national day of mourning on Thanksgiving Day. Each year on Thanksgiving, they march through the streets of Plymouth, Massachusetts. Yet other Native Americans choose to celebrate the spirit of Thanksgiving, knowing that as part of their traditions, they annually celebrated the fruits of their autumn harvest long before the first settlers ever arrived. Connection with Mother Earth and gratitude for her bounty is woven into the very fabric of their existence. Native Americans were storytellers, and today we will share some of their stories.
The wisdom of the great chief Seattle reminds us, all things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the children of the earth. All things share the same breath, the beast, the tree, the man. The air shares its spirit with all the life it supports. We did not weave this web of life. We are merely a strand in it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. This we know.
All things are connected. All living things share the same breath. All things are connected. The air shares its spirit with the Lord. All things are connected, just like the blood which unites us all. All things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the children of the earth.
Treat the earth well. It was not given to you by your parents. It was loaned to you by your children. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children.
The beauty of a tree, let it speak. Let nature speak to you. The fragrance of a flower and the freshness of the grass. The music of the sea, let it speak. Let nature speak to you through hills and mountains, the great skies and the rhythm of life. All things are connected, just like the blood which unites us all. All things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the children of the earth. All things are connected. All things are connected. All things are connected. All things.
Only after the last tree has been cut down, only after the last river has been poisoned, only after the last fish has been caught, only then will we find money cannot be eaten.
All things are connected.
Once upon a time, in a Cherokee village not too far from here, there lived an old woman. And boy, was she mean. I mean, she was so mean that she made mean people seem like pussycats. Yeah. She hated everybody, other old people, young people, middle-aged people, but most of all, she hated children. Yeah, she hated children. Why? Because children would go through her garden each and every day. You see, this mean old woman loved only one thing, and that was her garden. Every day, wearing her long black dress and a red bandana covering her head, she'd go out into her garden and spend the entire day picking bugs off flowers and plants and her fruit trees. She's constantly pruning the dead wood off of the branches of the trees all day long, every day. Yet on the other side of the garden was a stream. A stream, she didn't own the stream, of course. It was but the only access to that stream for the children who loved playing in the stream, swimming and splashing and skipping stones. The only access to the stream was through her garden. Now, the kids were very respectful. They didn't pick any flowers. They didn't eat any fruit. They were very respectful walking through her garden. They didn't do any damage at all. Yet when the children respectfully went through the garden, she went after them. She'd raise her arms up and shout, "Get out of my garden! On with you! Get out of here! You're not supposed to be here!" I mean, she was so mean, she made the younger kids amongst them cry. And the older kids amongst them, well, they would talk back to the woman and say, "Hey, this stream belongs to everybody. We're allowed to be here." This went on for years. Well, the village conjure woman, the medicine woman, didn't like the way this mean old woman was behaving, so she put a spell on her. The next day, when the children went to the garden on their way to the stream, the mean old woman, just like every day, began yelling at them. She threw up her hands, and when she did so, yelling at them, she continued to rise into the air and go up higher and higher, and her black dress turned into a rich coat of black feathers, and her red bandana on her head turned into red feathers over the crown of her head, and her arms turned into wings. Yes, she was turned into a woodpecker. And today, when you see a woodpecker, what do you see it doing in the trees? Always picking at bugs, picking at bugs, and picking out the dead wood in the trees, just like the old woman did. And that's how we got woodpeckers. I guess that's how a woodpecker would play All Things Are Connected, right? That's awesome. That's a gift. How many of you have ever had a fight with your friend or a sibling, your parent, spouse, your minister? You over there. All right, Thomas, we'll talk afterwards. Sometimes small arguments seem to grow, and people end up saying things that they don't really mean, saying mean things to one another. You're wrong. You're stupid. I hate you. Not as much as I hate you. Things like that. Well, a long, long time ago, this kind of thing happened with the first man and the first woman. Like many arguments, we're not quite sure how that argument started. She asked him nicely to do something. I don't know what it was, but he, of course, didn't do it. And she asked nicely again. He didn't do it. I think he was watching football. Even though they're the first man and woman, football has existed in perpetuity throughout eternity. And finally, she got frustrated. She said, you're so slow. And he took offense to that and said, slow? I'm slow. You are slow. I've been waiting for dinner for several hours. And she's like, why is it my job to cook you dinner? And they started arguing back and forth, and the elevation of the argument got higher and higher, and they were saying meaner and meaner things to one another. Finally, the woman burst into tears, went out the front door, out the porch, into the woods, ran away. And he chased her on the front porch and said, okay, fine, go, get out of here. No, don't ever come back. And he was still mad when he went back inside the house, slammed the door, he's stomping around the house, banging things. How dare she say mean things to me? Then it got later and later in the day, and it started to get dark, and he began to get worried about her a little bit. He went out on the front porch calling for her. No answer came back. That offended him, and he said, that's okay, never mind. Stay out there, see if I care. But he did care. He went inside and began to worry. What if something really did happen to her? I can't wait to see her and tell her that I'm sorry. Well, the next day in the morning, at first light, he went out and began looking for her. And he began to see signs of where she had been, a broken twig on a branch. Here, a disturbance in the leaves that had fallen on the ground there. And then he saw a flower, and then another flower, and then another flower. And the spacing between the flowers was such that a woman was the space of a woman's footfalls if she were running. So he began to follow the flowers. And they went into the woods and eventually made their way to a clearing. And there in the clearing, his wife was curled up, sleeping soundly. Well, he woke her up gently and said, oh, honey, whispered in her ear, oh, honey, I'm so sorry. I love you. And they kissed and made up. And they put their arms around each other and vowed never to fight again. And on their way back to the house, as they stepped over each white flower, each one bloomed into a strawberry, a ripe red strawberry. Now, strawberries remind us never to fight with the people who are most important to us. We should always keep them in our homes, in a bowl, in a jam or jelly, or in a pie, some way to keep them in your homes, because they remind us continually to love one another.
In an effort to fulfill and further the vision and mission of this congregation, we ask that our member and friends share of their time, treasure, and talents. With this, we will now take the offering. You may also give using the Giveify app.
We accept this sacred offering, generously given by our beloved members and friends, and may we use it wisely and judiciously in service to our mission. Originally, among the animals, possum was the most irritating animal of them all. He was always bragging and boasting, talking about himself and how beautiful his great bushy tail was. He was not much fun to be around because it was always about possum. Well, Rabbit decided to play a trick on him, and he let all the other animals except possum in on the trick. So Rabbit's idea was that they would have a dance in Possum's honor. I mean, why not? I mean, Possum was so wonderful, and at this dance, they would play a trick on him. Well, when they told Possum that they were going to have a dance in his honor, he was, of course, he was overjoyed. The only thing that upset him was like, why hadn't you done this sooner? Well, Rabbit said that before you go to the dance in your honor, Possum, we need to fix you up, to make you look your best. And that the crickets would be the ones to make him look his best. So Possum and the crickets got together, and the crickets gave Possum a bath and shampoo and dried him off. But what they really wanted to do, and they told Possum this, is that at the actual ball, we want to do a great reveal on your tail, your bushy tail, because it's going to look better than ever. And so, Possum agreed with this as well. So they were going to wrap his tail up in cloth, and then at the actual dance, unravel it as a big reveal. Possum was on board with this idea. But little did he know that when they wrapped his tail, all the other crickets were gently pulling the hair out of his tail. So it was pluck and wrap, pluck and wrap, pluck and wrap, until the whole tail had been plucked and wrapped. Well, all the animals gathered together for the great dance, and in strutted Possum, and he was all proud of himself. He was waving his hand. I'm not sure it was just the, what do you call this hand? The, one that's on like a spring or something, that kind of hand, or if it's the light bulb wave, I don't know. I think he was the light bulb wave kind of animal. So he's doing the light bulb wave and is so proud of himself. And, everybody was clapping and singing, glad that Possum was making the entrance. But then the crickets began unraveling his tail, and all the applause started to turn towards laughter and jeers and pointing. And Possum didn't know what they were laughing at until he turned and saw his tail and that it was naked. And out of embarrassment, he just fell right over and pretended that he was dead. Even today, when frightened or embarrassed, the possum falls over and plays dead. Now, the kind of thing that happened to Possum could happen to you if you're always bragging or you're needing to have the limelight shine on you all the time. So please be careful. Here's the story of the corn woman. She's a spirit made flesh, sent down from the heavens each and every year to walk through the cornfields of the Cherokee. And when she walks through the cornfields, the corn grows magnificently, sometimes 10 feet tall, with each stalk not having merely 2 ears of corn, but 4 ears of corn, and not just a yellow corn, but corn of all colors of the rainbow: yellow, white, various shades of blue, various shades of red, even purple. The corn, when she walks through the cornfield, becomes truly magnificent. Well, one year, the Cherokee people watched and waited for the corn to come up, but it did not come up. They waited for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Corn didn't come up. And they began to talk with one another. Have you seen the corn woman? Have you seen her? No one had. They prayed to the Great Spirit, please send down the corn woman so that our corn may grow. The Great Spirit replied, she was sent down 3 weeks ago. And the people began to panic. Where has she been? She's missing. The people asked all the animals if they had seen the corn woman. None of them had. And they undertook a search to find the corn woman. Nowhere to be seen. Till finally a crow flew down into a cave deep underground and came upon her. She was all tied up, captured by the evil spirit, Hunger. Hunger was dancing around his fire, joyfully, joyful that the people would starve this coming winter. Crow flew back and reported this to the people and the animals. Now, because crows have black feathers and black beaks, which could not be seen in the black cave, the people and the animals asked if the crows could possibly go down and try to rescue the corn woman. So all the crows went to the cave. They couldn't be seen by the evil spirit Hunger. And when the signal was given, they all attacked the evil spirit Hunger. They pecked at him and drove him out of the cave, out into the sunlight. And once he hit the sunlight, as most evil things, he just melted away. And the corn woman's spirit was freed. From that day forward, the Great Spirit would not let the corn woman come down in flesh, only in spirit. And so it is today. When you look at a cornfield and you see it flowing in the wind, you'll know that the corn woman's spirit is walking through the fields. Many Appalachian people don't like crows. They put up scarecrows, scare them off, run them off when the crows are eating at the corn. But to the Cherokee, it's different. They give the crow a special place. And if they eat a few kernels of corn, it's not a problem. That's okay, because the crows saved the corn woman's spirit and saved them from the evil spirit Hunger.
Please rise as you are able and join us in singing hymn number 1066. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
All things share the same breath. The air freely shares its spirit with all life. We did nothing to deserve this. Call it grace, an unearned gift. May we honor this in our connection to all things. Go in peace and enjoy your week.